sort of person working in the workforce. Do you remember Tom Hayes, the story of poor Tom Hayes, who rigged LIBOR single-handedly? This is amazing. Little Tom. Good on you, Tom. You rigged the entire financial system by yourself. That was impressive. Tom rigged LIBOR. Tom wasn't anyone doing it. There are a lot of people doing it. And you think the heads of those financial institutions where he was doing it didn't have a clue? No. They knew exactly what was going on. But they're clever. Clever enough to keep their hands clean. So when the police come knocking, it's Tom who goes off in the back of the police van, not them. They know how to avoid responsibility, avoid culpability. They can push it all on to the poor mathematician, who thinks he's doing his job and everyone's happy and I'm just doing what the boss has ordered and that absolves me. That's a good one. I was just following orders. And bring that into a courtroom. Tom tried to defend himself. He said, the system was corrupt, I was part of the system, what's the problem? And the judge said, the problem is you're going to jail for 11 years, that's the problem. But did any CEOs go to jail from any of the financial institutions he worked for? No. Why was Tom so convinced that what he was doing was okay? Because with high probability, some of the people managing him would have been psychopaths. Put your hand up if you know what a psychopath is. Okay? Put your hand up if you know a psychopath. Everyone put your hand up. Okay, that's how many you know a psychopath. Because about 1 to 4% of the population are psychopaths. You know a psychopath. Trust me. I'm sorry for you, but trust me. You know a psychopath. You just don't know that you know a psychopath. Because they're good at hiding. Damn, they're good. And to mathematicians like us, they're almost untouchable. We don't have the sorts of tools of understanding to unmask them. I know 3 psychopaths. Correction. I knew 3. One of them's dead now. Wasn't my doing.
One of the other 2 got that.
So I knew 3 psychopaths. It took me 27 years to figure out they were psychopaths. And they played an incredibly destructive role in my life for almost the first 3 decades. It wasn't until I got sufficiently old enough and wise enough and they sort of got slightly sloppy, not very, but just ever so slightly, that I was able to unshroud them, unmask them. The pain that they can inflict, the damage they can do, is unbounded. Because they have no morals, no empathy, no sense of right and wrong at all. They appear charming and friendly and fun, sociable, cool sort of people. On the inside, they are worse than animals. And you probably don't know how to spot them. I figured out one quick technique, but it's slightly inconvenient. So if you hand them a baby or a young child, then their whole system of interaction breaks down. Because everything they do is done in a structured way, the way they interact with people, present themselves. When you interact with a baby, this sort of, conversation type techniques don't work because it's a baby. So you have to show genuine emotion and empathy, which they can't do. Unfortunately, carrying a baby around handing it to people is slightly cumbersome. So you need a better way. And I don't know any easy, better way. Not as immediate as that. If you can get them cornered at the work Christmas party and shuffle someone else's baby up to them and see what happens, this is your best bet. But that happens once every 12 months. But I'm serious that it is practically impossible for us to unmask these people. And yet they're the ones who are going to be present in the companies that we work for. So I said, 1 to 4% of the population is psychopath, so you all know one. In high-flying professions, like surgeons and lawyers, sorry, it's greater than 4%. There are two categories of people which it's measured at about 20–21%. Any guesses what those categories are? One of them CEOs, the other is prisoners. I mean, to me, they should all be prisoners, right? I mean, off you go. So there's people at the top. I mean, think about it. Like, just take us back and think of this process mathematically. You've got a competitive process. People trying to get on top of other people. Some people have morals and ethics, and that sort of inhibits some of their actions, and some people don't. Who ends up at the top? The ones with the least boundary conditions, the least constraints. So by design, these people end up at the top. And we work under them. They can manipulate us, they can twist us into doing things, and we think everything's fine, but they will turn around and stab us in the back, see us hauled off into jail, and they won't bat an eyelid. It's funny that all of you bar one said that you didn't know a psychopath. Because you do. And with decent probability, you know one that's probably rather close to you. And I apologize in advance, figuratively speaking. I apologize in advance. I mean, every time you sit down to dinner in college, there's probably one, if you've got the big long tables in college, there's probably a psychopath on the table. And on the fellow's high table, jeez. One day that person will turn around and bite you in some way. So one of those, I don't want somebody running around in the streets with a knife dripping in blood. That's not what I mean by psychopath. I mean somebody who presents themselves, I'm trying to axiomatize psychopaths, this is fantastic. Someone who presents themselves as being fun, friendly, amicable. You know, they're a kind of cool person, but they don't demonstrate any of the normal, what's the word? Any of the normal moral compass that an average person will present. And they will happily manipulate anyone, everyone around them. They don't know love. They cannot love. It is not within their capability. They can show affection. They can buy people gifts and give them cards and flowers. You know, they'll remember every birthday. But they'll use this as a social tool. They do demonstrate emotion in some sense, but it can come around, it will manifest itself as anger, but anger in a very sort of strange way. Their anger will come out when they're starting to lose control of the game. And it's very rare that they'll let their guard slip to show you that. So it's going to be hard for you to spot them, genuinely hard. I said, apart from the young baby thing, and now when I look back on it, I mean, I can picture exactly these two people and the way they interact with young babies, and I can picture everyone else in the world interacting with young babies, and the three of them have the same, like, how to describe it? They're like, baby. So, you know you should be like, baby. No, there's some sort of thing you should be doing now. And they just had no connect. Because their normal tools didn't work. Couldn't strike conversation, couldn't, pretend to be interested in the baby. Like, the baby likes to, eat and vomit, right? I mean, you can't have a conversation with a baby. So, there is no easy way to do this. If you maybe talk to some psychologist, they might give you some more tools and techniques. I don't know enough about this myself. But if you end up working under them, God help you. It'll take me much longer than I have in this lecture to explain it to you. But yeah, it took, reflection on 27 years of my life to realize that, and once I realized that, everything was actually quite clear. But until you realize that, everything's just, they're just normal people like everyone else, and bad things are happening around me, but that's just random chance. No, they were the sources. And then looking forward in the way they're interacting, I can see it very clearly. But if you're not looking for it, you don't even know what you're looking for. Extraordinarily hard to do. And again, it's longer than a single seminar. So these people can mess up your shit. And you won't know until the bus hits you. Or you get thrown under the bus. As happened to Tom. Tom still has no idea what the hell they're in. No one's told him. We've spoken a lot about people forming, people doing things in mathematics which we're sort of seen as fairly blatantly unethical. But you wonder, how do these bad things happen? Even if you try and factor out, there can't be that many psychopaths that they can control everything totally. Smallish percentage. So how do you get an organization that is doing dodgy stuff? How does this sort of happen? We'll talk about forming ideology. Because in any industry, we fall in line shortly after we get there. You go to a place of work, and they have their own norms and sort of ways they look at things and stuff like this. And after spending a little bit of time there, you start to think, okay, this is the way things go. This is how I should be doing things. Their thinking, their ideals, their objectives become your own thinking, ideals and objectives. This happens a lot in Silicon Valley, this happens a lot in financial institutions, happens a lot in government institutions. I'm not just talking mathematics here. That includes mathematics. You walk into any institution and your ideals start to morph and align to theirs. This is a pamphlet I got at the careers fair. Some sort of hedge trading fund something. And the pamphlet says, nothing beats winning. I actually asked them, what do you mean by, what's winning? How do you define it? Okay, nothing beats winning. What's winning? And they said, our workers come in, and actually so their company looks like this now. It's a bunch of mathematicians and computers. It used to be bankers screaming at some sort of stock exchange, but they've been replaced by mathematicians. In the last sort of 10, 15 years, we are now the ones running these. It used to be people not mathematical training. Now you can't get a job here unless you know Black Scholes and have half PhDs to go to calculus, that thing, or are willing to learn it. So what's winning? I said, is winning, it's making money? And she goes, no. Winning is, beating another trader in a trade. It's a sport. You go into this place and you're a sportsman. And you're competing against the other team, wherever they are. And when you get that win, when you get that trade that comes out on top and it's profitable, yes, I won. And I'm sure there's high fives going all over the place. That's what I mean by a culture can build and develop inside a place like that. You look at Facebook. They have still a very strong culture. Move fast and break things. No, they move fast. And they broke some shit. Whoopsies, a little bit bigger than what they were anticipating. A lot of organizations take on young graduates deliberately. Why do they do that? Why do they come here and try and get you all at age 21 as soon as you walk out of Seton House with your degree? What are the reasons for that? It's because you've got such great young minds which are excellent at analysing mathematical problems and these sorts of things. Is that why they're coming to take you? They know that, some will say right and wrong, they know that apart from being able to do this, You don't understand shit. And so they want you first. Because you get this first fill phenomenon. Take an empty bottle of water. It's not empty. Take an empty bottle of water. And fill it with lemonade. Okay? You can fill the bottle. Fills up easily. Now you've got a full bottle of lemonade. Now fill it with orange juice. Without tipping up lemonade. You try pouring the orange juice in the top, and it kind of gets a bit of mixing over here. But guess what? This is still all lemonade. Slightly orange coloured up here, the rest is still all lemonade. They want you first. And they deliberately come and get you so they can have you first. It's not because you've got such great potential fields, metal lean minds. It's because the bottle's empty. And they can fill you with their ideology. And I've had people tell me that that's exactly why they recruit young grads. I had someone tell me who had worked for one of these companies, one of the big 4 accountancy companies. They deliberately recruit young grads so they can get the first feel of ideology into them. So those people align with their views. So they'll stay in that industry, or highly stay in industry, they'll view that industry as a more important industry. It's that first fill. Now, of these big 4 accountancy firms, it would be quite unethical of me to tell you which one it actually was, because it was told to me in confidence, and so I really shouldn't tell you, who they were. This would be quite wrong. Instead, I'll just... It's a nice cup, isn't it? It's just a cup, right? I mean, it's just a cup here in Cambridge. I don't know how it got here. Refreshing. They know what they're after. That's why they hand out free cups and free pamphlets and free bike lights and all this shit. You're not selling for £1 million, you're selling for £2.50 with a pair of bike lights and a cup. At the careers fair, they had a pick and mix. Normally they've got a bowl of chocolates and stuff. One company brought a freaking pick and mix. They're just upping each other, There'll be a fairy floss machine there, so you want a Ferris wheel and tigers and something. Because they know what gets you. They know exactly what gets you. And they want you first. You're more valuable to them now than you'll be in 5 years' time. They know that. Do you know that? Because you should. Because now you know what they're trying to do. You can look ahead just a little bit. Say, what's coming? Oh, I've got my 1-paragraph job description. What else will I be doing? So the person working at that company who shall remain nameless, he since left that company and he went to work for Facebook. And he was telling me, this was 12 months ago, 18 months ago. Tell me how he was going to Facebook. He said, Facebook are like kids with jetpacks. Is that really a place you want to go? Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Because he had a job offer from Apple, job offer from Facebook. You sure you want Facebook? Yeah, we're like kids with jetpacks. Yeah, something could go wrong. Yeah, well, something might go wrong, but it'll be exciting. Hey, right. So he gets into the jetpack land and goes off to whatever it's called, the hub, the bubble, the campus. It's looking and then in March, it was March the 15th, when the stuff came out, Cambridge Analytica, Facebook, massive data breach. I emailed him and said, hey, how are those jetpacks going for you? And he got back the most amazing response. I was flabbergasted. So I was thinking, we fucked up, this shouldn't have happened, we got duped. No. He got back. And again, he got filled and didn't realize it. He got back and said, it's ridiculous what's in the media. It wasn't even a hack or a breach. What? Yeah, we didn't get hacked. It was all part of the system. Yeah, that's what makes it worse. You idiots. If you've been hacked, it's because it well, you're an idiot, but you're a dope idiot, right? And you should fix this. But no, you designed the system and now you're defending it. You had no idea that they'd done something wrong. It's like, well, we made this, it wasn't even, we didn't get hacked. No. Rather than like, I keep gold in the vault, somebody stole the gold. No, someone said, can I please have the gold? And you said, yeah, sure it is. That's not security. That's idiocy. That's what he replied with. He'd spent 12, 18 months there, that's all it took. Because it's such an intense cooking pot. That's, well, obviously, we haven't done anything wrong. Our systems work perfectly. Systems do something. I don't know if work perfectly is the way to describe it, but when you piss around 87 million people's personal data, that's not working properly. Fucked up. Couldn't see it. Just couldn't see it. He had no reason to defend him against me. But he just couldn't see that there was a problem. He just thought the media was chastising Facebook. Yeah, maybe they've got a good reason for doing so. Didn't see it. So what he was telling me about recruitment happened to him. Thing is, I still don't think he sees it. I don't know how far I'll get with Facebook with his CV now. Maybe he will. Maybe Palantir are hiring.